for purposes of Dad's initial disposition. I'm sorry I'm not able to join you in the courtroom. I'm still battling a terrible cold, so I'm not going to cough all over you or all over the record. But I am joining you, very able to hear you, and I have the file in front of me, which is great. May I have the names of our participants, please? Oh, can you hear me okay?
We
Yeah,
can,
it's
Your
just
Honor.
waiting for the LJL.
Oh, sorry. Alexis Stang, LJAL, filling in for Ariel Berger.
Nastasia Thomas on behalf of the department.
Hunter Bosher, Catholic Charities foster care worker.
Michael McFarland, because mother is here, I am here, even though it's not our hearing, Your Honor. Please introduce you.
Margaret Allison Gale, mother.
Your Honor, as a preliminary matter, we are here for Miss Gale. There's no father at this point in time. At the last hearing, the LJL was not present. And then the court wanted more information from Ms. Bosher as relates to efforts to locate and notify the putative fathers, and then a brief update on a court report and the case service plan.
You're right. I totally read
Kicked in.
that wrong.
Apologies, my copy didn't kick in, so yes, we're here.
And I just read it wrong. So thanks for getting us on the right track there, Ms. Thomas. Ms. Stang, would you like to begin with the update as it relates to the children?
Yes. So Ariel did meet with the minor child on September 25th of 2024 at the home. The placement reported that Jamil had been sleeping well, but that he still is up a lot at night. But obviously for a 1-month-old, that is not unusual. It was also reported that the placement and her husband work opposite shifts. So there is always somebody home with Jamil that can get up with him during the night when that's necessary. The placement was working on getting daycare set up for Jamil and requested some vouchers for that. It was reported that there have been no visits by either parent at that point in time, but that the foster placement was supportive of the parents and was willing to send them updates on Jamil. Jamil was clean and appropriately dressed when the LGAL visited, and the home was a bit messy as reported, but not to the point of any concern. Jamil seems to be well adjusted and was reported to be meeting milestones and had a lot of supporting family members in the home. And Ariel's recommendations were that all prior orders from the court still remain the best interest of the minor child and that those should remain in effect. Judge, you are muted currently.
That's so you didn't have to listen to me coughing a minute ago. Ms. Underwood, welcome. And what brings you in?
I believe, Judge, I thought we had an 11 o'clock for Kenzie, right?
Ah, yes. We're a bit behind schedule, so we'll be with you on that one in a few minutes.
No problem.
Okay. All right. Okay, Ms. Thomas, how would you like to start?
Thank you, Honor. I'll call Ms. Bosher just to provide an update with her court report and the documents contained therein.
All right. We have someone who's joined us also from BLU B170D. Sir, would you give us your name, please?
Marquise Washington.
Okay, great. You're here on this particular file. That's great news because today's a putative father hearing. So we'll be able to hear from you if you would like to contribute. So do you...
Your Honor, my client from the next case is also on the screen, just to let you know.
Ms. Lemley, is that who that is?
Yes.
All right, you'll be in the waiting room for just a few minutes.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay. All right, Ms. Kudron, if you could try our presets to see if we can.
Yes.
Awesome.
There you go.
Thank you. Ms. Bosher, thank you for providing a court report with the several attachments. As it relates to your court report, are there any updates or modifications that you're aware of that need to be made for the record?
Yeah, there's a few.
Okay, go ahead whenever you're ready.
So DNA has been completed and picked up. FedEx picked it up yesterday. I received a notification. So hopefully that comes back soon. In regards to Ernest, I was made aware that he was in jail I'm unsure if he's still in jail or if he's been released. There's some like conflicting notifications. Some online websites like MDOC state that he's been discharged, but the Wayne County jail roster say that like he's still in there. So I'm confused if he's still in there actually or not. I tried calling this morning. I've had a very difficult time over the past few days getting the sheriff's office on the phone. So that's still undetermined at this point. In regards to Margaret Gale, she did clarify that she's not employed at this time. I've had two drug screens come back. So on 10/22 of 2024, that was all negative. 10/23 of 2024, she was positive for THC. And then in regards, I guess just a small update that I should note for parenting time. Since Jamil is located in Jackson now, I have asked Margaret to think about, I guess, not shortening her parenting time, but doing it 2 times or once a week for 2 hours instead of 2 times a week for 1 hour. Just because of the distance that the baby does drive. She did let me know that she wants to stay with her 1 hour twice a week, and that's about it.
Thank you. And currently, what is the permanency goal for the child?
Reunification.
And as part of the reunification efforts, did you have an opportunity to talk with Ms. Gale and develop a case service?
Yes, I did.
And do you believe that the case service plan as developed with Ms. Gale adequately addresses the conditions that caused the child to come into care?
I do.
Has Ms. Gale participated in any voluntary services since removal until today?
Drug screening through forensic fluids.
Have any referrals been made for any of the elements of her case service plan?
Not at this time. I think the first referral that will be made is supportive visitation, as I've talked about it with her already.
Do you have an estimate on how long that will be before you make?
I was planning on, it's a phone call, it's very short. I can do that early as Monday.
Okay. Ms. Gale, your report indicates is receiving mental health services from a psychiatrist and a therapist. Were you able to obtain any releases from her to confirm participation?
Yes, I have a release for her counselor, Carolyn Mobley, and her psychiatrist, Dr. Parker. Carolyn Mobley has the release. She's on PTO right now, so she said she will send me the requested documents when she gets back. For Dr. Parker, we had a phone call. He gave me his email. There was miscommunication on what the email is. It was undelivered. I got the proper email today and it has been sent to him today.
Okay, wonderful. Let's see. As far as like the psychological and parenting education, do you know which service providers you would be sending referrals to at this time?
No, not specifically.
Okay. Sorry, just kind of going through your court report to make sure we kind of touch on everything. As relates to parenting time, it looks like there were a few misses, 4 misses, 4 or 5 missed visits in October as of the date that you submitted this. Were there any other missed visits, or has Ms. Gale engaged in her parenting time?
Ms. Gale has been engaging in her parenting time.
Are there any concerns about her ability to parent in a supervised environment?
In a supervised environment, not at this time.
Okay. And is she coming prepared for parenting time?
No, she is not. The baby has been changed formula. She's been attempting to get it, but she does not have the money for that right now. So placement has been providing all the necessary items.
Okay. There in your court report, excuse me, there's there's a few drug screens that are in there and all of them are negative. And then there's one that's positive for several substances. And it looks like it was confirmed or validated by the forensic fluids individuals. Were you able to review that with Miss Gale?
Yes, I was.
And did she request to be rescreened or to have that done again, or did she indicate what happened that day?
She did state that it needs to be looked at again, and I assured her that forensic fluids usually does that double testing. And she denied it and didn't really have an explanation, and then it kind of just ended at that.
One of the things in the petition, the original petition, indicated that despite Ms. Gale receiving pretty significant financial support from her parents, she didn't have adequate or appropriate materials or preparation for the child. You just indicated that she's not coming to parenting time prepared. Do you know if there's been a change in that arrangement with her parents?
I don't think there's been a change in the arrangement. She has notified me that she got her bank card stolen. So she did notify me about a week ago that her dad was overnighting one to her, but I don't think she has got that yet. I don't know if it's been ordered, if that.
Okay. And do you have any updates where Ms. Gale is living?
I believe she's in a homeless shelter at the moment.
All right. As relates to the putative fathers, you've provided a proof of service that you personally served them the order of continuation for the putative father hearings. Thank you for that. We have obviously Mr. Washington present. Other than that contact with Mr. Conway, I believe that's his last name, have you spoke with him after you served him, and whether he indicated if he wanted to participate in these hearings?
Since I've served him, no, I have not made contact with him. He doesn't have a phone. He's kind of hard to get a hold of. I'm pretty sure he got picked up with Lenawee on the 26th. And so I'm not sure if he wants to participate.
Thank you. Hang on one second. Mr. Washington, first of all, you're technically in a courtroom, so I'm going to ask you to remove your hat, please. And then
Sorry,
that's okay. And also, we're going to need you to keep your device on mute until and unless it's your turn, because that cuts down on some of the background noise that can interfere with us understanding each other on the platform.
Okay, can I ask you a question real quick, please?
Go ahead.
I'm kind of like busy for real, but I agree to cooperate. So if I can be excused for this one right here, and I will be to the next one where I keep in contact with the worker that's in contact with me.
That does seem to make sense to me. I was actually going to run that by you, Ms. Thomas. It sounds like from Ms. Boscher's testimony that the testing has been completed, but we don't have the results back. Is that accurate?
That is my understanding of the testimony as well, and I have no objection to Mr. Washington leaving. I believe his appearance here today indicates that that he was properly served. Then also he intends to engage if DNA shows he's the father.
No objection.
Okay.
No objection.
Okay, Mr. Washington, we typically kick these out for a review every 3 months, which would be for us, that looks like what's this? So that would put us January, end of January. So is the morning or the afternoon better for you?
Morning. No matter. Morning.
All right, so how about Tuesday, January 21st at 10 a.m. Will that work for you?
Yes, if I can get it. If yes, if they can get it like sent to my email or something, I appreciate it. Just so I don't
Yes,
forget, because I got a lot going on.
Yep, that's reasonable. Does the worker have your email address?
She got my number and everything.
Okay. All right, so we can get that from her then at the end of today's hearing?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so we'll send you a copy of the email with the notice, but we'll see you January 10th at 10 a.m.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
Did you say January 10th or January 21st, Judge?
Sorry, January 21st.
Okay.
Okay, all right, well, that's fine. We'll email them too. All right, go ahead with your next question, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you. Actually, Your Honor, I don't think that I have any other questions of Ms. Bosher at this time and would move to admit the court report with its attachments.
No objections.
No objections.
All right, thank you. They received cross-examination, Mr. McFarland.
I believe at our last court hearing, my client consented to being ordered into the case service plan, right?
Correct.
I got a fan right above. And does she need to meet with you to discuss further? What should be her priorities? Let me ask you that.
I think her priorities is all the aspects of the case service plan and just starting her services once we get those referrals set up and just fully committing to all of them.
Well, there's a lot. So if we need to prioritize, because oftentimes it's hard to do everything, and she needs to focus, is there any place where she needs to put her focus?
I think her initial focus is keeping up with consistent parenting time, and once we get the supportive visitation, following through with that and being compliant with that. Housing seems to be an issue at this point. I think that would be a major focus. And then consistent drug screening, as she has been doing.
Now, the housing should be housing to accommodate herself and the child, am I correct?
That is correct.
In the future, if she tests positive, would you be advising her that she has the right to, or that she can have it tested independently on her own if she wishes to? Is that something you would do?
Yes,
She's had consistent parenting time lately, you testified, correct?
yes,
This baby is located where?
in Jackson County.
Okay. So you know this court typically awards a parent 3 visits at 2 hours a visit, correct?
I'm not aware of that, no.
So rather than 6 hours, she's now getting how many hours of parenting time?
A week, 2.
2 hours. Okay, so 2/3 less. If this court orders more or less, well, let me go. With a newborn child, there's really an urgency for the child to bond with mother if the goal is reunification, correct?
Correct.
So the more frequently a child is meeting with mother, the more likely there will be a bond formed with a newborn child, correct?
Correct.
Would you, if my client continues the parenting time, do you foresee expanding parenting time?
Yes, that is definitely an option.
What are we looking for? What needs to be done? I mean, how soon could we expand parenting time since she is now attending parenting time?
I think we definitely need some time to think about that decision. She has attended, I would say, 3 in a row since I have found her on the side of the road and basically got her back into being compliant. She did go on at about, I think, an 18-day streak of being unknown of where her whereabouts is and no contact, not showing up to parenting times and so forth, so.
Are you requesting that she call a certain time before parenting times to confirm that she's going to attend?
She does that already.
Okay. And my client, I believe she's going to be taking parenting classes, correct?
Correct.
She seems a little confused on that. Is that something that that she should call you and discuss what type of parenting classes and where?
Yeah, we can discuss that in person at our next parenting time as well.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Questions, Ms. Stang?
Just briefly. Have you been the one that's actually supervising the parenting times that have occurred?
Yes, except for, I don't know the specific date, but there was one where I was in another court hearing, and so my supervisor covered half of it. But
Okay.
yes, I'm present at all of them.
Okay, and when you have been supervising those parenting time visits that have occurred, how does Jamil seem to do during them? Is he healthy? Is he, happy? What have you observed?
He seems content. All he does at his age is basically eat and sleep and is held by Margaret the entire time. There's not much more that happens.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing further.
Any redirect, Ms. Thomas?
Briefly, Your Honor, if I may, there are a couple of attachments that I did not touch base on in my original line of questioning, so it's outside the scope of other questions that have been asked, but I think goes
No
towards
objection.
parenting. Oh, thank
No
you, Mr.
objection.
McFarland.
I have no objection either.
Thank you. Ms. Bosher, included in your court report I couldn't really tell if there's two separate medical encounters or just one medical encounter with Henry Ford and Jackson.
Yes, so that, I believe Margaret was at a gas station, I believe, and she didn't know where to go, and I think her C-section was hurting her, so she called the ambulance and they took her to the hospital in Jackson. This was when I initially couldn't find her when I first got the case, and she was in Jackson for that period of time. And then she relayed to me that she was in the hospital for a short period of time. And that was one of the reasons why I couldn't find her initially.
Okay, thank you for kind of giving us some context to that. In the reports, there's, it looks like at the initial encounter that she seemed out of sorts, so to speak, and maybe a little incoherent or confused. Were you able to speak with those medical providers to understand a little bit more about what that meant? Or were you just able to get the documents?
Amanda Jones was the one who was able to reach out and get the documents. It was not me at that time.
Okay, so the CPS worker did. Okay, thank you for that. And in your conversations with Ms. Gale, has she ever disclosed to you any mental health or mental illness diagnoses that may explain this type of incoherence that's documented in these medical encounters?
She has disclosed that she does have ADHD, I believe. I haven't received any documents proving that at this time.
Okay, all right, thank you. What are the concerns about increased parenting time for Ms. Gale right now?
I think the concerns are just her ability to care for the child. From the hospital records, initially at birth, there was concerns for her ability to do basic parenting skills. There has been, I believe, only 5 parenting times at this time. I do not believe that I have had the best observation to be able to determine if her parenting skills are appropriate.
Okay, thank you for that information. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
Brief follow-up. At the visitations you watched, did she have to change a diaper? Was that need? Did that arise?
Yes,
And she did that adequately, correct?
yes,
And did the need arise that the child had to be fed or nursed?
yes.
Did she do that adequately?
Yes, I've never seen her make a bottle because they always come prepared already.
Make a what?
Make a bottle because they always come prepared. So I would say she was able to feed him with the prepared bottle.
Okay. And when the child needed attention, she was able to provide the child attention, correct?
Correct.
So in a supervised setting, are there really any concerns in a supervised setting for expanded parenting time?
I think just at this time, more observation is needed. We've only had 5 parenting times, which is a total of 5 hours. I don't want to make that decision right here, right now.
But in those 5 hours, she's not done anything inappropriate, correct?
Correct.
And you would have noted to us if she appeared to be under the influence of anything, and that was not the case, correct?
Correct.
Lastly, what do you want her to bring? Should she bring diapers? Should she bring formula already made, or do you want to see her make it in front of you, just so we know?
Yes, I have given her a visitation guideline that does state the necessary items that should be brought, but the basic necessities, diapers, wet wipes, cream if that's necessary, bottle, formula. She did bring a pre-made formula one time, but that is up to her decision and her ability to get the type of formula that he's on.
So you're okay with her not making that in front of you then, right?
Correct.
Okay, nothing further.
I have no redirect.
Okay, all right, thank you. Any additional questions after cross, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for your testimony. May you return to your seat. Next witness,
No one else, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland,
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Stang.
Thank you.
Okay, comments in closing.
Thank you, Your Honor. Today, we're just asking the court to formally enter an order for the case service plan so that Ms. Gale can start making progress on that towards reunification. I think that parenting time should just be left at the discretion of the agency per policy, obviously with the goal for reunification. And as the case progresses, parenting time would also increase. Right now, I would refer to this period of time as a period of stabilization that needs to occur to ensure that mom is in fact meeting all of her own mental health and physical health needs. The reports from the Henry Ford encounter are a little concerning about her behaviors. And then to have this kind of random drug screen in there that shows the use of some pretty significant drugs is also concerning. And so I think getting some of those issues stabilized and also getting that supportive visitation in there. As this court is aware, the reason for the petition, or one of the reasons, is the lack of knowledge of how to care for an infant. And I think that allowing mom some time to stabilize herself, progress, and getting to know this infant and her child, and practicing some parenting skills and gradually increasing would be most appropriate. And I trust that Ms. Bosher would respect that. And with that, Your Honor, we are just asking for that 90-day review. I'm guessing to be held with an exputative father hearing, at which time I'm hopeful we have DNA tests back. As soon as DNA tests are back, I believe Ms. Bosher would inform the parties and allow an opportunity for the father to begin establishing a relationship if determined to be appropriate. So that is on our radar as well. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. McFarland.
Your Honor, bonding with a newborn is very important, and my client's concerns are that just the short visits that she has, and if the goal truly is reunification, that really doesn't promote a bond in reunification. Rather than just leave it purely at the discretion of the agency, we would like perhaps some guidance from the court as far as if my client continues to be appropriate at the visits. There's no testimony that she has been inappropriate at the visits, that she's done everything that she's supposed to do, that after a short period of time, they would increase, and that it would we are used to the typical 3 visits at 2 hours per week. And I realize that the child is out of the county, but that's not mom's doing, that the child is out of the county, Your Honor. So we would like consideration. There's something in the background. And so we would like some consideration as far as expanding sooner than later client's parenting time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Ms. Stang.
I would echo all of the same requests that the department has. I believe those are all in the best interest of the minor child. I do think the department having discretion at those visits being supervised by the department or a designee or unsupervised is appropriate at this time. And I do believe that, with the minor child being as young as the child is, and with the very few, I guess, at this rate, amounts of parenting time visits that have occurred and have been attended by the respondent mother, I don't believe expanding right away to those 3 visits for 2 hours is necessarily going to be in the best interest of the child. Again, it is a very young child, probably naps a lot, eats a lot. So I think that needs to be taken into consideration, in terms of that parenting time.
All right, thank you. The court finds all interested parties are given notice for purposes of today's hearing and initial disposition. It does look like I'm still seeing some positive drug tests for Miss Margaret Gale from relatively recently, including a test collected 10/17/2024. I also know that she's not been able to take advantage of some of those referrals that she could have had already in place because she sort of dropped off the radar for kind of a significant period of time. I want to commend Ms. Bosher for her efforts, including apparently finding Ms. Gale on the side of the road and getting her back on track. So thank you for all the work that you've put into the case. And I do believe that parenting time is being managed appropriately under the circumstances, given those, given the relapse. And that is doubly important considering that Ms. Gale also has some CMH services, which likely also includes medications. And so when we're mixing all those things together, it does create a risk that there could be some unpredictable things happening during parenting time. And with such a young child, we really want to make sure that that's absolutely safe, in addition to making sure that the bond that's being created between the mother and the child is a healthy one, frankly. So we'll look for Ms. Bosher to continue to spearhead what happens with visitation. I agree with Ms. Stang on that point, as well as with Ms. Thomas, that we need to see a period of stabilization with Ms. Gale and real engagement in services. And she's got the opportunity for that in the next report period, and I hope she's able to take advantage of that. I do find our guardian ad litem, as well as our caseworker and our attorneys for that matter, to certainly be in satisfaction of all of their efforts. And thank you very much, everyone, for your time and efforts on this case. The child will remain in the foster care placement. That is the safest and least restrictive place for the infant at this time, given Ms. Gale's continued challenges. She's got to, again, stabilize, not just with regard to her sobriety, but also with housing and employment and some of those services to make sure that she can create a safe and stable environment for herself and for her child in the future. So that will remain in place until our next review, which will be held in conjunction with the putative father hearing. I see that the DNA was submitted on 10/22. Again, kudos, lots of credit to Ms. Bosher there. I read through her efforts to locate both of these gentlemen, and they were a lot. So don't be burning yourself out here, Ms. Bosher, because we need to keep you on these cases, but great job here.
Thank you.
We'll have our review and our putative father hearing on January 21st at 10 o'clock in the morning. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today.
Should my client stick around in the hall for a copy of the order, Your Honor?
Judge, you're muted.
Yep. You know what? Yes, give me 5 minutes.